Hidden deep within the Indian Himalayas, sitting 4,800 meters up in a freezing, snow-covered cirque, is a small glacial tarn known as Roopkund. For centuries, it sat completely isolated. Then, in 1942, an Indian forest official stumbled upon a scene that captured the world's imagination. Scattered across the ice and piled along the rocky shores were hundreds of human skulls and skeletal remains. Researchers spent decades trying to explain this mass grave. A 2004 forensic investigation finally offered an answer. Investigators documented distinct, unhealed fractures on several skulls, concluding the victims were killed simultaneously by a sudden barrage of giant hail. The victims were identified as a group of 9th century South Asian pilgrims traveling on the Nanda Devi Raj Jat Yatra, an arduous, high-altitude religious procession. With a clear victim profile and a plausible cause of death, the mystery of Skeleton Lake was considered solved. This sense of certainty allowed the site to be categorized as a historical curiosity, leading to a decade of unmonitored human activity. Because the lake's history was seemingly mapped out, the tourism industry saw an opportunity. Starting in 2009, an economic boom in India launched a massive commercial trekking scene, sending thousands of hikers up the trail to visit the bones. This sudden influx of foot traffic took an immediate toll on the surrounding environment. The fragile, high-altitude alpine pastures, locally known as bugyals, were rapidly degraded by the unregulated campsites required to house the tourists. The public's confidence in the lake's solved status effectively stripped the location of its archaeological protection. Instead of being preserved as a sensitive site, Roopkund became an unmonitored alpine destination. Just 1 year after that commercial trekking boom began, the scientific landscape changed. In 2010, researchers successfully sequenced the first ancient human genome. Realizing the potential of this technology, scientists decided Roopkund required a second look. 38 powdered bone samples were extracted from the remains and distributed to 16 specialized laboratories worldwide for rigorous biomolecular testing. Investigators were no longer limited to looking at macro-level bone fractures. By reading the specific genetic markers preserved within the bone dust, they were about to uncover a much more precise truth. The results of that 2019 study immediately contradicted the previous consensus. The 38 individuals did not die in a single event. They were deposited at the lake in multiple incidents, stretching over a 1,000-year period. The first grouping confirmed part of the original theory. These were individuals of South Asian descent, and they perished across a series of incidents between the 7th and 10th centuries. But then, the data fractures. Researchers found one solitary individual with Southeast Asian ancestry who died at the lake nearly a millennium later, in the 19th century. Right next to that point sits a massive anomaly. A completely distinct third group of people all died at Roopkund during a single event in that same century. These victims possessed Eastern Mediterranean ancestry. Their genetic markers and the chemical signatures in their diet trace directly back to the island of Crete. This evidence completely dismantles the hailstorm theory. A localized weather event cannot selectively kill distinct ethnic groups, arriving at the exact same location 1,000 years apart. There is no known historical record of a 19th century Mediterranean group traveling to a remote glacial tarn at 4,800 meters. The cause of their deaths remains unproven. The environment offers several deadly possibilities: sudden exposure to freezing temperatures, fatal acute mountain sickness, or a catastrophic fall from the steep Junargali Ridge above the lake. Despite these theories, local folklore and regional texts are completely silent. There is no mention of a European expedition traveling through this treacherous territory during that era. The introduction of advanced genomic technology didn't provide answers. It multiplied the questions and exposed the deep flaws in prior forensic assumptions. Finding the exact physical answer now may be impossible. During the trekking boom, visitors casually rearranged the skeletons for photographs and even packed skulls into their bags as souvenirs. Because the remains have been moved and removed, mapping the exact sequence of deaths through traditional archaeological excavation is no longer a viable option. This graphic shows the scale of what's missing. The 2019 study analyzed just 38 samples. If a tiny fraction of the remains yielded 3 continents of origin and a millennium of separate events, the hundreds of bodies still buried in the ice likely represent hundreds of distinct, unrecorded journeys. Roopkund shows that as our tools allow us to look deeper into the past, human history appears less like a single neat event and more like a series of disconnected global accidents. The more we learn, the less the theories fit.